A hoodie, a luxury showroom, and one quiet man who'd soon leave everyone speechless. The video opens on a sun-soaked afternoon in Scottsdale, Arizona, where a modest SUV pulls into the parking lot of one of the city's most exclusive car dealerships. The kind of place where chrome sparkles, engines hum like purring lions, and status is measured in horsepower. From the driver's seat steps a man in his 40s. Calm eyes, steady walk, nothing flashy about him. His name is Daryl Carter, though no one here knows that name yet. Dressed in a plain gray hoodie, worn jeans, and sneakers that have seen better days, he doesn't look like the kind of client this showroom usually welcomes. But that's the point. Today, Daryl isn't here as the man who signs the paychecks. He's here as a stranger. He wants to see how his staff treats the people who don't fit their idea of luxury. Every step he takes toward those glass doors is part of an unspoken test, one that will expose far more than anyone expects. The moment Daryl steps inside, the desert heat gives way to a chill of perfection. Polished marble floors, the scent of leather, the soft gleam of cars priced higher than most homes. The employees glance up, some pausing mid-conversation, their smiles fading almost imperceptibly as they take in the hoodie and sneakers. The energy in the room shifts, subtle but unmistakable. Daryl senses it immediately, that quiet tension born of assumption. But he remains unfazed. He's seen this look before, in other rooms, with other faces. He moves slowly between the vehicles, his reflection rippling across gleaming hoods, taking mental notes. Every word spoken around him feels like part of an experiment. Every glance, another data point in the psychology of prejudice. Somewhere inside, he already knows the result. But he's not one to judge too quickly. The real test hasn't started yet. That begins when one person decides to draw the line between who belongs and who doesn't. And that person is about to walk straight toward him. Enter Susan, confident, crisp, composed, the manager of the floor and the self-appointed guardian of prestige. Her blazer is perfectly fitted, her shoes sharp enough to click authority into every step. When she spots Daryl standing beside a silver coupe, her polite smile masks an undercurrent of irritation. "Can I help you with something?" she asks, her tone professional but distant, like she's already calculating how to redirect him elsewhere. Daryl's answer is simple. He's just looking. But the simplicity doesn't sit right with her. Her eyes narrow, scanning him as though he's misplaced something, like money or purpose. She asks if he's shopping for a car, and the question drips with doubt. He nods, keeping his calm. She offers a strained smile, suggesting that most of their clients require pre-qualification. The air grows heavier, charged with quiet arrogance. To her, Daryl is an interruption in her perfectly curated day. To him, she's exactly the mirror he came here to find. Her every word confirms what he suspected. Respect, in this place, is something you wear, not something you earn. American accent. Susan doesn't stop at condescension. She doubles down on it. With a clipboard in hand, she hands Daryl a neatly printed list of affordable alternatives, a handful of used cars she believes are more in line with his situation. Her words are smooth, but their meaning cuts. She doesn't see a man capable of owning the room. She sees someone she's doing a favor. Daryl takes the paper without flinching, scanning the prices with quiet amusement. He's not angry. He's intrigued. Every interaction is a revelation of how blind confidence can be when paired with bias. Around them, a few salesmen exchange glances, some uncomfortable, others silently entertained. The social hierarchy of the showroom stands exposed. But Daryl doesn't correct her. Not yet. He keeps his voice calm, even playful, when he says, "How about you let me speak to the owner?" The question lands like a crack in glass. Susan blinks, the certainty in her posture faltering for the first time. She doesn't know it yet, but the game has just shifted completely. Her refusal is immediate. The owner, she insists, isn't available for casual visitors. The words hang in the air like a warning shot. But Daryl simply smiles, pulling out his phone. "That's all right," he says. "I'll call them myself." The sudden confidence catches her off guard. Employees nearby pause what they're doing, curiosity overtaking routine. He dials a number, speaks quietly, calm, certain, and hangs up just as the heavy glass doors open. A man in a navy suit strides in, his eyes scanning the room before locking onto Daryl. "Mr. Carter," he calls out, voice warm and respectful. In a heartbeat, the hierarchy flips. Susan's expression freezes, the clipboard slipping in her hands as realization dawns. The man in the hoodie, the one she dismissed, is the new owner. The staff's whispers fade to silence. Daryl doesn't gloat. He doesn't need to. The truth itself is louder than any revenge. It's not anger he feels, but a quiet disappointment that runs deeper than words. And in that silence, the lesson begins. When the initial shock subsides, Daryl turns to the staff with the calm of someone who doesn't raise his voice to be heard. His tone isn't scolding, it's reflective, the kind of voice that forces you to listen because it carries experience instead of ego. He explains why he came unannounced and dressed the way he did. He wanted to know what kind of culture he'd inherited, whether respect here was real or just a transaction. The employees shift in their seats, some ashamed, others thoughtful. Daryl shares a glimpse of his past, of walking into rooms where his worth was measured by what he wore. It's a moment that humanizes him and reframes everything that happened. The story stops being about Susan's mistake and becomes about all of them, about the silent biases that shape every decision they make. By the time he finishes, the atmosphere has changed. This is no longer an embarrassment, it's a turning point. Prestige Motors is about to redefine what prestige truly means. The glass-walled conference room feels colder than usual as everyone gathers inside. Daryl stands at the head of the table, composed, deliberate, every word carrying weight. He doesn't lecture, he leads. He speaks about integrity, humility, and how true excellence begins with how people are treated, not what they drive. Susan sits near the back, her clipboard gone, her confidence replaced with remorse. When Daryl calls on her to speak, she hesitates, but then admits what everyone already knows. She judged someone by appearance and forgot the simplest rule of customer service: respect. Daryl nods, not to humiliate her, but to acknowledge accountability. He announces new training programs, a new standard, and a new expectation. Every customer who walks through these doors will be treated with the dignity they deserve. The message lands hard, but fair. By the end of the meeting, the tension has shifted from shame to determination. For the first time that day, the team feels unified, not by fear, but by purpose. As the staff returns to the showroom, the air feels different. Conversations are quieter, glances more thoughtful. Susan approaches Daryl, her voice soft and sincere, promising to do better. He listens, nods, and reminds her that words mean little without change. When she leaves, he turns to the gleaming cars under the fluorescent lights. Their polished reflections no longer represent status. They represent opportunity. Daryl knows the real value of Prestige Motors isn't parked in the lot. It's built in the way people are treated. He walks toward the exit, sunlight spilling through the glass doors, and pauses just long enough to glance back at the showroom he now owns in every sense of the word. The same hoodie, the same man, but now everyone sees him differently. The camera lingers on his faint smile as the narrator's final words echo. In a world obsessed with appearances, the real luxury is respect.